Hey y'all, my name's Jen. I'm a health and life coach on a mission to empower women, and this season I call the messy middle. We believe it's never too late to dream your wildest dreams and to build lives freed from the shoulds and have-tos. Here, we talk to ourselves like we do our girlfriends and our sisters and daughters. I will share stories and resources with lots of encouragement and a little bit of tough love to drive you toward action. In this podcast, we talk about everything: career, relationships, motherhood, and health. So grab your sneakers and let's go, because she's wild and freed. Hey y'all, welcome to She's Wild and Freed. I'm your host, Jen, and I am so excited you are here today for our first episode. I have to say my excitement is coming to you with a little bit of nervousness and anticipation, some doubt and fear, but honestly, just pure joy. I have been thinking about starting a podcast for a long time, and this just feels so right, and I am so grateful you're here. So this being our first episode, I feel like the most appropriate thing to talk about with you today are firsts and beginnings. As you heard in the intro, this podcast is a place where you can dream your wildest dreams and free yourself from expectations of others or the shoulds and have-tos of life. For example, things like you should be at that point in your career, or you should have a home that's HGTV ready, or you should be eating this, not that. Or think about things like you have to make dinner tonight, or you have to take the kids here or there. You have to lose X amount of pounds by summer. These are the things we'll talk about in this podcast. We'll talk about releasing ourselves from the opinions or pressures of others, and maybe even that voice in your head that won't stop inserting self-doubt and worry. But before we get into the topic today, I want to share a little bit about me, because this podcast is a place where we will talk about everything, and I hope you will feel my passion and personality come through as we spend time together. Believe me, I definitely don't have it all figured out. For example, I started the day with lots of tabs open in my head and almost not sure where to start, because I already felt behind on all the things I should be doing this morning. My name's Jennifer, but my friends and family call me Jen. I'm a podcaster, a wife, mom of 3, and I've spent most of my 20 plus year career in corporate settings in human resources. I love all things personal development and health and wellness. A few years ago, I was settling into my 40s, starting to think about my life and career. Well, maybe I wasn't starting to think about it, but I was having a moment. Call it a midlife crisis or awakening. Whatever it was, I think many of us get in that place where we start to question, is this it? Do I really want to be in this career for 20 more years? What am I supposed to do when my kids leave? Who am I? To be fully transparent, prior to this, I thought that I had the best job at the best company. I had been promoted to a job that I thought was my dream job. I was working on projects that I enjoyed, training teammates to take on new responsibilities. I had a supportive and challenging boss, and I felt that everything was going great. I worked really hard and had the respect of my colleagues and upper management, and I was influencing the culture. Or so I thought. We had a big leadership shift in the company, and I started to see gaps and holes in what I believed was a strong, equitable, and fun culture. I started to see where there were a lot of closed door meetings that hadn't been happening before and toxic activities and even conversations. Like all good corporate employees, I brushed some of that aside and I really tried to embrace and support the changes. But I realized that the changes were not for me. I actually became really miserable at this job and at this company. I started doing things that now I've learned goes with my attachment style, avoidance, avoiding my manager and her manager, avoiding hard things at my job. Definitely not something I was proud of, but it's my protection mechanism. I started doing what I was told, but nothing more. In the HR space, we would say that I had become disengaged. So I don't share this story to say, poor me, or I can't handle changes when there's shifts in a company. Definitely not trying to start on a low note, but I do share this because I hope some of you can relate to this, whether you've been in a situation like this and got out, or you're in it now and feeling stuck or unsure of what your next move is. I started this podcast because I know there is something better and more aligned for each of us. This is a place where I will share stories that I hope resonate with you so you don't feel alone during this time that I call the messy middle of life. My goal with this podcast is to gently push you to gain confidence, to make a change for you that is more aligned with your wants and desires. This episode is all about firsts and new beginnings. Doing something for the first time is scary, and the unknown can be crippling and can keep us stuck where we don't want to be. This is the first time I am recording this episode, and I've definitely stumbled over my words a couple of times already. I am in the spare bedroom of a rental. We are in between homes right now, getting ready to move into a new home, which is super exciting. But I told myself today, just record, just hit record. Just put your message out there and keep putting in those reps. Who remembers their first kiss or the first time they drove away from their family home? The first day at a new job? The first time you said no to your kid, even though you knew it hurt them, but it was the best decision? What about the first time you lost a loved one or your kid's first words? I'm so excited to talk about first because it will only happen once with whatever you're doing or experiencing in your life. And for me, it can sometimes stop me in my tracks. I feel paralyzed and I can't move. I stew over the things that I should be doing in my head. It loops over and over and over. Yep, there's that should word again. I will get right up to the edge and then say, nope, I'm not ready. I still need to do X, Y, and Z. I will make excuses, find something else to do. Can anyone else relate to that? Just keep busy. Go from task to task to task. Don't try that new fitness class. Don't call that friend. Don't talk to your partner about that thing. Just stay busy. That's my other protection mechanism. Stay busy, do all the things. No one's asking me to do all the things, I just do them. Because that's what we do as women, moms and professionals. We do all the things. I saw someone post, I don't know, it's been a little while now, about the amount of work that women do in the morning before they even get to quote unquote work. It's insane. So I want to celebrate first today and new beginnings. What have you had on your heart for a while? Maybe it's been an idea that came to you randomly and you stuffed down. Then it came up again and you said to yourself, no, I can't do that. Or maybe you even said it out loud to a friend or family member and they said, when will you have time for that thing? Or don't you think you're a little old to be starting something like that? Or maybe that was that little voice in your head, well, maybe not so little, speaking to you. My daughters started college a couple of weeks ago. They are freshmen, so this is a first for them. I say they are twins, and they ended up going to the same college and rooming together, which is so cool. They will experience many firsts in their first year of college. They've already done some recently. They went to their first concert without any parents. They resigned from their first job, signed up for college classes, paid for books. This is such a super exciting time. This is a first for me too. They were my firstborn. I experienced many firsts with them as a mom. This will be the first time my husband and I are in our home with only one child, because we have a son too. First can be really hard. We don't know what happens after we do something or experience something for the first time. Even though we have put in reps and had experiences with so many other things in our lives, our natural tendency is to pull in or pull back or just stay stuck. So I want to celebrate these firsts in our life. The first time we set a boundary at work, for example, no checking emails on the weekend or on vacation. The first time we tried snorkeling. The first time you set your alarm to wake up early and go for a walk. The first time you said yes to meeting a friend for lunch. All of these firsts are the foundation of living the life of our dreams. The foundation may be a little shaky, like I feel like my voice has been during this episode. The foundation may shift or show us a better way, but we started and had our first experience. You can't run a 5K without taking the first step. You can't find a new job without first looking for one and putting your resume out there. You can't build that friendship back without making the first call. You can't start a side hustle without nudging yourself past your worries and signing up for that class or registering on a site or buying the equipment. Whatever is on your heart right now, listen. Breathe. Don't push it aside anymore. Really sit with that feeling. And remember, you only have one wild and precious life, and you deserve to feel free to do the things you love, the things you are good at, the things that make you happy. You are never too late. You are exactly where you're supposed to be, and the dream is there for you. Thank you so much for listening to this very first episode of She's Wild and Freed. And I hope you come back next week for another episode that inspires you to dare to dream. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I hope you feel free to take action toward building the life of your dreams. If something in this episode resonated with you, I would so appreciate it if you would text it to a girlfriend so she can hear the message as well. Until next time, stay wild.